Hello, I'm Joshua, a naturalist for Five Rivers MetroParks, and today we're at the Twin Valley Welcome Center at our bird feeding area. And who wouldn't want to attract some birds into their own backyard, and especially have something like this to look at every day, every time that you want. So today we're going to be exploring about how you can bring some birds and some other wildlife into your own backyard. Now, backyard birding is more like a hobby, and just like any hobby, you can put a lot of effort into it, or you can just put a little bit. But to bring birds into your backyard really doesn't take a lot of work at all. You don't really need a lush fountain that's going constantly. You don't need a bird shelter, and quite honestly, all you need is a couple of bird feeders to get started. Now, two different types of feeders that you're going to have success with right away is your simple seed feeder that you can put a variety of different kinds of seed in, and then also a suet cake feeder. Now, suet cake feeders are somewhat interesting. You can go to the store and you can buy all kinds of different recipes, but the recipe doesn't really matter. You'll find all kinds of different flavors and things, but all the birds are concerned about is mostly the fat, the white stuff that's in here. And so, matter of fact, you can go to a grocery store and you can buy slabs of fat in your meat department for like 10 cents a pound sometimes, and you can just cut the slabs of fat and then stick them in here and it works. So you don't need to melt it down and put seeds in it and put different flavors in or anything. The birds are mostly just after that fat content. Another feeder that you might consider is simply putting out a tray feeder like this. So this can be built in a lot of different ways. This one has a screen bottom so that when it rains, the water can then just drain through. And here is where we like to put our black oil sunflower seed. Now, black oil sunflower seed is typically a little more expensive than some of your other, like generally mixed feed, but the birds love it. There's an incredible amount of energy packed into this sunflower seed. So when you see this in your store, you know that you have a winner. As you get to watching your birds, you will notice that each bird species has different behaviors, and there are some birds that love feeding close to the ground. So simply by just taking a small tray, or in this case, a little chunk of wood, and then just put some of your bird seed right on the wood, and this will attract some of those more specialized feeders that like to feed closer to the ground. So now that you've seen one of my most favorite bird feeding areas, I want to take you to my house where you'll see what you can typically put in your backyard. So here's the bird feeder setup that I have at my house, and as you can tell, it's nothing extravagant. I have a 4x4 post kind of supporting this flat table right here where we put different types of seed to attract different kinds of birds throughout the year. Then I have two dangling suet feeders, and then I also have a hanging feeder right here which we put sunflower seed in. And we get all kinds of species. We've counted several different species of woodpeckers here. As you can hear, you can hear the Carolina wrens and the tufted titmice and lots of other birds kind of singing all around here, as well as, of course, cardinals and stuff. We've got blue jays that come and visit, all kinds of neat creatures to explore. Anything that you can think of that would typically come to the backyard in this residential area that I live in. And as you can tell, it's a little bit high for me, so I have to reach up high to put stuff up there, but I want things in view of my big picture window out in the back of my house so that my kids can sit on the couch and just kind of hang out and do their homework and whatever they need to do while also watching birds. So it's a great little spot for inside our home. So this is what our bird feeding area looks like from the inside of our house. So another neat tip is birds like to feel very secure when they're feeding. And that's what this apple tree provides, is some sort of structure where they can rest and hide and not have to worry about the Cooper's hawks and sharp-shinned hawks and lots of other bird-eating creatures that might be lurking around out there just waiting to nab their meal. So if you can put your feeding area next to a bush or a tree, or maybe you can plant some appropriate trees around your feeding area to create that kind of screen and that structure so that birds can have a place to hang out while they feed. Now, although certainly not required, one thing that will help enhance your backyard birding experience is a set of binoculars. Now, you don't have to go all out and spend thousands of dollars on binoculars here. Now, trust me, there are binoculars that are that expensive, but here, all you need is a simple set of binoculars that will help just bring in the birds a little bit closer, because there are certain identification characteristics that can help you determine what kind of, maybe a male or a female or a juvenile, that you might need some binoculars to make a determination. Now, if you're just getting started with bird identification, I am sure you will notice that there is a ton of resources out there available to help you out, which can be confusing. So to get started, what I would recommend is calling 1-800-WILDLIFE, or go to your Division of Wildlife website and order one of these. These are free. This is a guide that has about 100 different species of birds in Ohio that you're most commonly going to find. So it's a really nice resource. It also has a birdsong CD that comes with it. However, if you go to the website, you can download this guide, and that'll help save Division of Wildlife's resources, as well as saving paper. And then you can conceivably have this guide on your phone or a tablet and have it readily available, so that when you're out in the woods or in your backyard and you see a bird, you can automatically just look it up and figure out what it is. Now, if you're looking to grow your skills and want to advance into a field guide, there are several to choose from, and many of them have their pros and cons. So not all of them have everything that you're looking for. So take some time in a bookstore and leaf through them. One of the ones that I think is pretty popular is your Peterson Field Guide. This is a much older edition, of course well used, but in here what's nice is it has the bird drawings, as well as with maps, so that you can determine if the bird actually lives in your area or not, or can be found in your area, as well as the arrows that point to what to look for when differentiating from species to species. But one of my favorites, which is perfect for backyard birding, because you're not out there hiking when you're backyard birding. This is hard to put in your pocket, okay? This is a really big book. However, it is a really neat book, because the artist that drew these knew that you're going to see maybe just the front of the bird, or maybe just the side of the bird, and then it flies away and then it's done. So what he did was he drew different postures of the bird, different positions, so that you can really get an idea of what the bird looks like overall to help you identify it, as well as it has the maps and all the little tidbits that you're kind of looking for when you're identifying a species. So as you can see, it doesn't take much at all to get started in the hobby of backyard birding. So go ahead, try it out. Get yourself a feeder, get yourself some black oil sunflower seed, put it out there in the backyard, and just see what happens. Thank you for watching, and take care, and we'll see you out in the trail sometime. Bye-bye.